GWR Loco Nut here. I thought it would be apt to show you guys what I have in terms of engines. A lot of them very, very, very old. Because I'm coming back to this hobby after a number of years, probably even decades out, it'd be good to show you what I've got and what I plan to do with it over the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, who knows. I actually purchased myself a DCC, a digital layout, not so long ago on a popular auction website, and that is DCC. Unfortunately, all of the old stuff I had when I was younger was all DC. I haven't got any of the controllers. All the trackers gone as well. That's been chucked away. But luckily, my family were wise enough not to chuck away both the locos and the rolling stock. So, a rundown of what I have, and also what I plan to do with it. I'm going to be, with my new layout, hopefully building it as a GWR layout, hence the name. So a number of these locos are going to need a serious amount of conversion. So any help, advice or comments that you might have about any of that will be absolutely great. Okay, first of all, there's this, here we go. We have my little LMS 040 saddle tank engine. I had this bought for me when I was about 8 years old at Christmas. Absolutely gorgeous. My favourite train in the whole wide world. However, it's LMS and it looks a bit rubbish. All the livery's pretty poor. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually repainting it GWR green. Maybe putting some handrails down the side here. Nice copper on the top. Some nice etched number plates maybe, and DCC chipping Europe, and that will be a lovely little shunter for my GWR layout. I think that is going to be the last one that I do, purely because I'm still not convinced whether I'm going to do it or not, because I'm so attached to her as she is. Let's put that over here. Number 2, I have a 060 Pania GWR. Pretty old, this one. I can't find a name on her anywhere. She's got everything's intact, but it's a bit tacky. Shiny finish on the paint. I really don't like that. And also, if you look in the cab, I don't know if you can actually see the motor is in there as well. Again, I would love to open her up, DCC chip her, maybe add some details, maybe some kind of shovels and stuff at the back, some coal in the top, some lamps, etc, etc. But I'm not entirely sure of the room that's going to be in here. If the motor's sticking out there, then I kind of assume that this is all filled up, and she is quite heavy, so you never know. Also, I would want to repaint her with a matte finish, if you look at any of the new kind of Great Western liveried locos that are coming out, they're all kind of matte, slightly darker green in this, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Also, they've got these handrails. Maybe I'll replace these handrails with real ones. Just file this down, and she needs a new cap on the top there. But yeah, all in all, that's something that hopefully probably wouldn't take me a great deal of effort to get her up to scratch. Next up, the other train that I owned as a child, and she's absolutely battered. I did have a good time with her when I was a kid. It is 4498 LNER Sir Nigel Gresley. Now, I said she'd taken a battering. We've got no couplings at the front. We've got no buffers at the front. We've got no handrails down the side, either side, they're both gone. We have still got some nice detail in the cab. And generally, other than that, she's all working. Obviously a tender driven, otherwise I wouldn't be able to turn these wheels here. I think this is going to be a pretty easy repair. Just buy some handrails and some handrail knobs just to fix those in there. And some new buffers, and I think she'll be good to go. Unfortunately, as she's LNER, she's not going to be suitable for my GWR layout, but to be honest with you, she's just one that I think I'll keep as she is, because when she's fixed, she will be a good looking loco. There's the tender. Again, there's not a great deal of detail on here. It's quite flat actually. If you look really carefully, you've got a shovel actually moulded into it, which is pretty rubbish actually, to be honest. So I might add some details to this, but again, this will be one of the later ones that I do, because she's not going to be GWR, and she, as far as I remember, she runs perfectly fine. Nice little tender driven Nigel Grizzly there. Cool. We're getting there. We're about halfway now. Next up is possibly my favourite one. This is one that my one of my older relatives had tucked away in the attic and forgotten about until I said that I was going to be modelling again, and he miraculously pulled it out. Especially because it's a Great Western layout. Is an Airfix Great Western Pannier tank engine. Not Pannier, sorry, that's rubbish. It's a Great Western Prairie tank. It's a 262, so you've got 262 wheel configuration. It's serial number 6110, and if you look on the bottom, I don't think you'll be able to see on here, it's actually, there you go, it's actually made by Airfix. I think this was made in the 80s. Couplings are all still intact. I mean, the detail is lovely. Got this lovely silver handrail still intact. It's a bit dusty on top, and unfortunately these doors don't open, so if I was going to put any crew in there, then that'd be fairly difficult. But to be honest with you, I'm not really that bothered. Now, this is the livery I was talking about earlier. If you compare it to the Pannier, you can see the difference. This is shiny, this is kind of a matte finish, looks absolutely gorgeous. This does not need anything doing to it to add to my layout, other than sticking in a DCC chip, which I have downstairs. I'm going to open up probably a bit later. I'll make a separate video about her and the process I go through when I DCC chip her. But I've seen on YouTube somewhere one of these exact Locos DCC chips, so I know that it's possible, and I have a soldering iron and I'm not afraid to use it. Okay, I might add some more details to her as well, just some kind of maybe some shovels on the back and some lamps and stuff like that, but she is absolutely gorgeous. She's going to be the first one that I do. Okay, we're getting there. Next up, I have a Hall class. I think she's Hornby, but I'm not entirely sure. She's very, very old. GWR Albert Hall 4983. There's the tender. Again, that horrible shiny livery. So this is going to be repainted. This is going to be probably my big project for the start of the year. There's pretty poor detailing on the tender. Actually, I might be able to pick out some of these details with a bit of paint. Maybe some of these handrails as well, and etc. etc. Here's the actual loco herself. She has got some battle damage. If you look on this side, the window here has actually been broken and snapped. The roof has taken a battering on the corner there, but I don't think there's anything that I can't repair there. Just take a little bit there, a little bit there, fill out that corner with some various materials. I think I can fix her up to make her look good. Then if I give her a good repaint, again, I'll file down these moulded handrails and put some real handrails in, put some nice etch plates on, and maybe some maybe a new front buffer. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, she'll take a little bit of work. But I think once she's chipped and once she's painted, again in that lovely matte green colour, she's going to look absolutely stunning on my layout. She is going to take some work though. Next up, I've got this 060 British Rail Ginty BR Black 47458. Underneath, there's no. Oh, here we go. Under here we can see, just there, she says Hornby, made in Great Britain, blah blah blah. She's old, she's very old, she's pretty flimsy. I don't honestly, I mean, her details are actually quite nice. It's got some nice little handrail details. I don't actually think GWR had any kind of 060 Ginties like this. So until I see a picture or find evidence of one, which again, you guys are more than helpful, if you can find that, I won't convert her to GWR. It's not any a particularly difficult conversion. I want to keep it vaguely historically accurate, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to use her. I will chip her and I will use her to run stuff around. She's quite old. You can see the cab details there. It's kind of a plain mustardy yellow colour. Pretty rubbish, but yeah, I'll get around to chipping her at some point and I'll send her around. Okay, so that's all of my steam locos. I do have a couple of diesels left over from childhood. We have, first of all, and I think I'd be right in saying she's a Triang BR Green Class 58. There she is, just like that. Lovely shiny finish again. Don't like it so much. Kind of one-piece plastic moulded roof. It's not great. There's no fan vents, anything like this. She's absolutely ancient. I think she's older than I am, to be honest. This came out of an older member of my family's loft again. You can see under the bogie there's her motor just there. Under the other bogie, got the pickups and stuff. To be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to DCC chip her. I don't think I'm going to run her, in fact, because I'm a bit worried she'd explode and kill us all. I mean, she's in pretty good nick, I suppose, and if I had the time or an inclination, I possibly would maybe get a new roof with some better detailing on it, maybe drill some very tiny holes at the front for some directional lights at the front and at the back. I mean, she's nice, she's okay. She's not particularly heavy, which means to me she's probably quite fragile. And finally, I've got my lovely Class 58 in rail freight livery with yellow ends. This came from a midnight freight set that one of my friends had as a child, and he very quickly went off model railway, and I bought this off him, if you can believe it, for a packet of white chocolate mice, which, looking back, was an absolute bargain. Very, very sturdy, very, very nice application. Lovely handrails down the side here, look gorgeous. And we are missing a buffer at one end, but that's easily replaceable. And I think I'm going to chip this one, and I'll probably use this as a general run around on the layout. So, I will be doing a short review of the DCC set that I picked up just before Christmas, to give you a kind of an insight to what I actually have so far. Of course, I have lots and lots and lots of rolling stock, and they'll be making appearances throughout videos at various different intervals. But for now, that's it. Any comments about any of the locos I've had a look at, or any of the plans that I have with the locos, if you think they're horrifically wrong, that's cool. Just let me know, because any advice and comments are more than welcome. Thank you.